You an adult with ADHD that is also experiencing stress at work? I'm going to go over 5 things for you to focus on to lower your stress in your career or your job coming up next. So I know we bring a lot of stress on ourselves as adults with ADHD. And I got to tell you, after working one-on-one with many busy professionals with ADHD, it is clear that a good chunk of our stress actually does come from the workplace or our career. You could be an entrepreneur, solopreneur, employee, you could be in leadership, but a lot of it has to do with the habits and routines and, of course, distractions, right, that we bring into our lives. We have trouble maybe methodically planning out our weeks, and our brains are going a mile a minute. So I want to talk about 5 quick things that you can begin the process of implementing in your busy career or job that can just begin the process of lowering your stress. All right, we're going to go to the post-its. Guarding your time is absolutely essential. And we could go on for an entire weekend about time management. But a couple things that can actually lower your stress rather quickly is to try and pick one day of the week and block that out for the next 3 months. And I know that might be a tough one. It might be scary, but blocking out at least one day of the week allows you to dig in and get into what we call flow and actually get some quality work done with less mistakes. Block out chunks of time during your day. And a lot of people I work with really get the first step of blocking out chunks, but the key to blocking out chunks of time during your day is to actually know what you're doing with it. So if you're blocking out chunks, put in that calendar invite to yourself what you're actually going to do with the time. Test your no. Make sure that you can say no to certain things and test it. Don't test your no with big, huge projects that your boss asks. Test it with just a little bit of no and see how that works. And then work your way up to larger no's. And keep your word to yourself, especially to yourself. If you're going to block out time and you're going to say you're going to do something, make sure you commit to yourself and honor that commitment. Limit information overload. And we can't think clearly when we're in information overload, right? Our brains are going a mile a minute. We have all these ideas, and that's just how the ADHD brain works. So one thing you can do is, some people call it a parking lot, some people call it other things, but find a place where you can put those non-urgent things in a place where you can find them later. Have a parking lot. You can start with a notepad. You can actually start with a Post-it if it works. I don't suggest that being long-term. You can use Evernote or a program like Notion, but find a place to put those ideas. If you have 30 tabs open on your computer, this is one way to actually begin the process of minimizing the open tabs, which many of us with ADHD do. Understand your capacity for work, fresh brain time, and please eat your lunch. Always look for clarity. And one of the biggest sources of stress in adults with ADHD, and especially in the workplace, is a lack of clarity. I was so guilty of this years ago. Prepare questions in advance of your meetings. Do not leave the meeting until you have clarity on objectives and your comfort level is high. And honestly, this may take you no more than 60 seconds. Don't think you have to sit there for hours after a meeting. You may just have 1 or 2 questions that could lower your stress by offering you clarity. And don't be afraid to follow up with others after if you are not clear on your objectives in your job. Clarity is a big stressor, and we can minimize it by doing a couple very simple things. Double check your work. If you are making mistakes in work, that is stressful, and it can be much more stressful for those of us with ADHD. For example, if you work in an office setting, it's a good habit to double check your work before letting others see it. especially your clients, your boss, and other people you're working with on a particular project. And countless times in my marketing business when I was running it, I was guilty of sending out something that had a mistake in it. And I can't tell you how much stress that caused me. So leave time to double check your work. And if you trust somebody, maybe have them double check it. And the last thing I will suggest is get moving. And I always talk about this on the podcast and with the clients I work with. Hit the gym. You can join a gym for $10. Go walking, go find a nature trail, and take your lunch. But do something to get away from the office for even a few minutes. No one will miss you for a half hour or so. So make sure you take the time for yourself. All right, check me out at overcomingdistractions.com. I have over 200 podcasts, and come back here often.